Hi everyone, welcome to another Learn, Grow, Invest video. I'm Jermaine, co-founder, and I'm joined here today by Tyrone Wilson, CEO of iCreate Limited. What we're gonna do today is just get the opportunity to ask Tyrone some questions, talk about some of the recent developments with iCreate, and then after this, we're actually gonna go into the stock review. So we've decided to split this video in two. So those watching it on the replay, you'll see this as a separate video. So you'll need to watch a stock review using the link that we'll put in the description. But for now, what we're gonna do is just ask Tyrone some of the questions that we'd want to know coming out of our analysis of the stock review and some of the developments that we've seen recently with iCreate. So I'm gonna ask you guys, share the video, share it in our Telegram groups, all the groups that you're in, let persons know that we're live. And as usual, we're gonna open with a word of prayer. So let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the ability to learn, grow, and invest. I pray, Lord, that you'll bless this community, give us knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. In Jesus' name. Amen. All right, Tyrone, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm good. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us. I know that there's a lot going on with iCreate right now, so thank you for taking the time. I saw the notice that the meeting that was scheduled for today was pushed back. Is there a new date set for that already?
Not as yet. Actually, we wanted to ensure that we send it out by email to all the new shareholders. So I'm waiting on that list.
Okay. All right, great. So what we're doing here, guys, we're just making this a general Q&A because Tyrone is here and we get the chance to speak with him. We'll have maybe about 30 minutes to get through our most pressing questions. So please post them in the chat, and what I'll do, I'll just go through some of the things that I had to ask you, Tyrone, and then we'll see if we have that context in terms of some of the things that we've seen iCreate do over the last few months. So I know definitely the very first question I can ask you right out the bat is, why the change of strategy for iCreate, right? So persons know iCreate to be a creative institute focused on education, but since recently we've seen some developments. We've seen the acquisition of Get Paid, and we've seen the acquisition of real estate. So talk to us about the change in strategy and why you had to go down that path.
Yeah, man. Thanks for that, Jermaine, and welcome to the community, Learn, Grow, Invest community. So I wouldn't say there's a change in our strategy. It's more an expansion up, right? Training at iCreate and kind of fueling the digital and creative economy with training being at the core is still, what defines iCreate as a business. Even in our Q1, the numbers are purely driven by a significant growth in the school itself, right? iCreate Institute. So, but we did realize that during the pandemic, right, we had to pivot. We had to expand the kind of strategies to grow the business and keep the business stable and survive COVID-19. We realized that, depending on one kind of revenue stream wasn't enough for us. And, iCreate, through its parent, eMedia Interactive Group, has long been kind of a creative conglomerate. It's something that we've been used to. When iCreate was started in 2017 as a test product, it was part of a business with being more than just, training. So what is happening now is that we see the pandemic and all that's happening, and literally just deciding to consolidate our ideas or initiatives under one umbrella and to make iCreate a stronger company. So training is still our core business. It represents our biggest opportunity for exponential growth, to expand through a region, to move into international markets, and we're invested in that. And our team is extremely passionate and excited about building out the institute and having the impact that we need.
So you're saying we're going to see no fall off in terms of the drive to grow in that space?
No, definitely. In fact, it's an improved focus around the institute and what we can do for individuals and businesses in terms of them accessing digital skills, digital skills training and so forth. So we are still keen on that.
Okay, great. All right, so you mentioned the need to pivot. I mean, we've all seen the impact of the last 2 years on every single company. So what is the strategy now behind the pivoting? Talk to us about that goal. What sort of opportunities would we see, iCreate pursue? Because I imagine that there's more to share coming out of the AGM that you had earlier this year. Right. So talk to us about that overall strategy. Is it that anything that looks like it will be profitable, you'll go down that path, or is it very specific, very strategic things that you're looking for?
Yeah, we got where we're not going after any and everything, right? iCreate is slowly evolving into a creative conglomerate, a Grace Kennedy for creative and digital ventures, Sagicor Group for digital and creative ventures, right? That's the field that we're passionate about. If you look at my background and my kind of early beginnings, when I started eMedia in 2008, the idea was, internet usage is at 51%. It's going to be the future. Digital is going to be the future. That was my messaging. That's 14 years ago. And we're seeing that today. So we're still keen on investing in the digital and creative economy. And we feel that training is the most important part. When you look at the creative economy value chain, right? And you can Google the creative economy value chain. It begins with training, right? So there's training and there's conceptualization, there's production, there's distribution, right? Around creative content. And the growth of any industry at all is around training. So I remember, for example, when we, back in 2000, I think it was 2017 when we were launching iCreate, and I was having a conversation with my chairman at the time, chairman for eMedia, Richard Biles, when we're talking about the early days of the insurance industry, the actuarial science profession, when they had to be hiring actors from overseas, right, to work within their company. And today they have what he described as a surplus of actuaries, and that's played a critical role in terms of building the insurance industry, in terms of creating new products and so forth. So training will continue to be at the forefront. The world is changing at a rapid pace. COVID has pretty much upended everything. We're in the fourth industrial revolution, 5G technology, automation, robotics, everything. How do we even begin to understand these things? How do we even begin to apply them to our business? And that is where iCreate comes in. So we work with, individuals, small businesses, medium-sized, large companies to pretty much go through whatever revolution is taking place, right? And iCreate is critical, and training is at the core of that. So I don't want our shareholders, potential investors, to be too distracted by the other things that we're doing, because some of these moves, like for example the residential real estate play that we're doing, is to build cash flow for the business so that we can be armed. We can't always be going to the market to raise new capital, right? The business need to be profitable and cash flow positive. So might see an opportunity as a corporate investment strategy that will give us some revenue, that will give us some cash, so that we can reinvest that in our core business until our core business is able to stand on its own. So that's what we're doing now, with that. But outside of our real estate, which is left side, what we're doing now, we are looking to invest in businesses that complements that digital and creative conglomerate strategy, right? So a get paid in terms of e-commerce is one initiative that we're doing that we believe that business can help to build out our e-commerce infrastructure as a country, can power businesses in terms of different technological tools, whether it's telemedicine, whether it's food delivery and setting up, um, you know, stores online for micro business owners, just like some of the stuff we're doing now as the DDJ, Go Digital voucher assistance program. And then, there are other businesses that we're looking to acquire that, will play a key role in us building out that conglomerate group, that creative conglomerate.
Anything you're able to share in terms of those other acquisitions? Anything that you're legally allowed to share? If you're not allowed to share it,
once it's not been shared through the stock exchange, we can't share it really. But we have some. What I can say is that we have some very exciting and compelling plans in terms of our merger and acquisition strategies that we believe when they come to the market and shareholders get the opportunity to digest it, will be impressed by what we're doing, And I've been saying this since our 2020 AGM, right? Which was held in 2021, I believe, right? That, our 2019 AGM, which was held in 2020, where I kind of outlined the strategies for the business, and people, a lot of people, of course, at the time were struggling, weren't turning no profits. People thought it was just really announcements to get people excited. But we have been taking our shareholders on the journey with us. I've always been out there communicating with the market whether the profit is out, whether it's 100 million in losses on the balance sheet or 10 million in Q1. Some may fail to believe it because they would have think it's an underlying strategy to help and push stock price up. But if they were following the story and what we're saying, they wouldn't be surprised, for example, about the Q1 performance that we have at iCreate, because we've been kind of dropping these hints with our shareholders.
Okay. So Dabani is asking, what exactly? So you mentioned the real estate is really to shore up cash flows for the core business.
The residential real estate.
Yeah. So he's asking, will it be for long-term rentals, Airbnb? What exactly can you expect from the real estate side of things?
We're just building to sell. It's a residential project. It's small. It's around 8 units. The iCreate team and our resources and so forth have been able to fast track this project and move it off the ground. And we'll just be building to sell, right? Collect the cash, recognize the profit, re-inject that funds into some more iCreate related business.
Okay. Any timeline for the completion and then sale of those units?
Well, we're hoping to recognize the performance this year for sure, this financial year. So by the end of the year, that will be more in Q4.
Okay. All right, cool. So I believe there was another question earlier. Damani was asking about, is there interest to get into maybe like esports in terms of iCreate? Is that something that you'd be interested in, esports?
Okay, that's Camelia.
Yeah.
Hello, Camelia. Well, esports is a rapid growing industry. About 3 years ago, someone has connected me with an entrepreneur in Australia to partner around esports with iCreate. At the time, we were a bit more focused on building out the school, and that entrepreneur in Australia has since gotten significant funding to build out their esports business, right? But that is an area we are keen on. It's an area we love. It's an area I've been looking at, around training, getting individuals off the ground and how to, live stream, all of those things. The opportunities are there for us. And I think it's going to become a big thing within the region. And it's a dynamic field to be in. It's a nice merger of digital and physical, in terms of the space. And it's something that we want to look at it. We're looking at it. No immediate plans to get into it, but we're definitely looking at it.
Great. I think Damani will be happy to hear that. All right, let's see if there are any other questions here. All right, so
it's Camille and Damani asked a question. Okay.
Yeah, man. Henika is asking in terms of I think you spoke about the changes that have come about since you started to know. I think that the latter part of our question is maybe more pertinent to ask now is what can we expect of iCreate over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think for me, I'd be very comfortable having iCreate presiding over 3 solid business subsidiaries. We have the school, and the acquisition that we're working on at this point is going to be a solid second. And I think the iCreate Creative City real estate division is one that is going to play a solid role in terms of fueling everything that we're doing in the digital and creative space, and also supporting entrepreneurs looking to grow their businesses and so forth, especially the micro entrepreneurs. A lot that we have trained, people who have set up their animation company, who have set up their graphic design company, but they need a space to work, they need co-working space, they want to access computers, resources, tools, software, equipment. That's how the creative city will come in. A part of it is going to be supporting that. So over the next 5 years, really, iCreate, we want it to be a global business. I think some of the moves that we're making now will get us there definitely, I think, way before 5 years. We want to have 3 solid subsidiaries that can drive, good performance for us, stability. We want to be able to invest in a world-class team. We're big on training for our team members to not just as a service, and want to invest in that. So, quarter by quarter, we're getting there. We have a good team right now. Our board is, extremely supportive of my vision for the business. So it gives me great confidence going out there and handling negotiations and seeking out acquisition opportunities and partnerships, as of what we have. So I think, over the next 5 years, that's what you can expect from us.
Great. So I think that's a good way to segue into one of the questions from our Telegram group. Let me actually bring that up right now. And guys, if you're watching and you're not in our Telegram group, you definitely should join. So there was a 2-to-1 strategy mentioned at your AGM.
Right.
So in context, the results of your Q1, which we haven't done the stock review yet. For those who haven't seen it, just stay tuned for the segment after this one. So is the question that this person is asking, for you to be able to realize your 2-to-1 goal, is the realization of said strategy hinged on the equity raise that is expected to come from the rights issue? That was their question.
That's a good question. What was that?
That was Tyrone.
Okay, greetings, Tyrone. It's a combination. Definitely from what we have now in the business, without any acquisition or so forth, will play a big part in terms of our 2-to-1. And just for everybody, 2-to-1 strategy that we highlighted this year, at our AGM this year for covering last year is 2 million US in revenues and $1 million US in profit is what we're targeting financially for iCreate. It's ambitious. It has a 50% net profit margin, just from the look of it, 2 million, 1 million. But we'll see where that can happen, right? Our school is growing at a rapid pace. You know, we have record numbers of individuals coming in. We have new divisions at iCreate that will come in what we're training, more acquisition and get paid. It's played a critical role in our growth. You know, just over the last couple of months, of business development opportunities and pipeline that we have in business has been, you know, very promising. So the real estate is going to play a key role in terms of the profit, in terms of the $1 million USD in the profit. Real estate is going to play a key role there. The acquisition that we're doing, that we're targeting, or rights issue will be a part of raising capital for further acquisition down the road. And I mean, I can't say much now based on the JSE rules and so forth for disclosures. So when the board meet and we work through the details, we will present that to the market. But it will play a role in what we're looking to achieve this year financially. Okay.
So that 2 million US goal, right? 2 million US is estimated to be about 310 million American dollars. So based on the revenue achieved for Q1, that would be an average of about 90, 88, 89 million per quarter for the remaining quarters.
Right.
Okay. And you think that's
so if we look at the Q1 now and annualize it, definitely would look as if we're way off. But there are some opportunities that is to come on stream that will complement this. So the real estate, without saying too much, is a big part that is already sealed up, finalized and ongoing, right? So that gives me great confidence. And then the get paid now will, you know, come in on stream, so that will show some solid performance there in terms of revenue, and of course, you know, the acquisition that we're looking at.
Okay, so I mean that speaks to the revenue goal, and I get how the acquisitions could help there, but then now, as you said, that 2 to 1, so 300 million in revenues, expected 150 in net profit, or was that gross profit?
Net profit.
Net profit. Okay.
Yeah. So
all right. Cool.
So when we run the maths now, annualize Q1 profits, it's really 260,000 USD off the 1 million that we're looking to make in terms of profits.
Okay.
Real estate alone will cover the rest, right? But we're actually not expecting just the real estate. So I think we're going to do way better than 1 million, to be honest. But you know, that's where we think, that's where we want to keep it. We have to keep focus. We get distracted, but I think we're in a good position to do better than that. And I think when the Q2 is out and, you know, individuals begin to see the kind of story coming together, especially the announcements around the rights issue and everything, you know, what I want to do, Jermaine, is to have individuals, you know, just pretty much journey with us. You know, we're a young company. Sorry, we're a young company, right? We haven't put in place a kind of stable and confident revenue stream and revenue pipeline and revenue, you know, system that give individuals an opportunity to anticipate how iCreate will perform. Because as a young company, it's up and down. But the most important thing that we want to do is, every quarter when our results are out, kind of have the sit down, make ourselves available, speak with the shareholders, and have them understand where we're going. So it has long been a passion of mine to do these calls, to have the conversation, to speak, to get the questions. And, I look forward to even when we release our Q2 results or when we announce the rights this year and able to speak some more about that coming back and having the conversation around it. Because what I want folks to do is to really be able to track the progress as we go along.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean that would definitely be good because I mean I was going to ask you, so I definitely understand the need to set a vision to chart a path to try and get things to a certain point. But I was gonna ask you, and this is my question, no, this wasn't anybody else.
Yes.
Are the targets more optimistic or realistic based on what you know? And I think optimism is completely
I think
okay.
they're conservative.
All right.
Nobody, Jeremy, would have expected that iCreate would put out a 450% increase in revenue and a 450% increase in profit. If we had that last year, December, that we have a 400% increase strategy. We want to increase revenue 400%, profit 400%. People would laugh at us. They would have said, Tyrone gone crazy. But here it is today.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I think the 2-to-1 strategy that we have is conservative.
Okay. All right. So talk to us about some of the. So there was a notice that was released. I'm trying to bring it up on screen here. It's a notice of an extraordinary general meeting. That's what we have on screen. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there were some resolutions that were there. I'm not going to go through the document. I'm just going to ask you about the idea about some of these things that you're trying to accomplish with this. So I don't know if you can, if you want me to bring them up and highlight them one by one and you speak to it, or just give me a general overview of the.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of the contents of it, so I can speak about it without you going through it. But what's happening here is that iCreate, since listing in 2019, has been in, I've been struggling. It's not a secret. Of course, we're publicly traded, so our numbers are out every quarter. We have had significant cash flow challenges throughout the years, 2019, 2020, 2021. And we haven't been showing any profit since. This quarter is our first solid quarter and a big turnaround of the company and so forth. But last year, we were insolvent, right? We couldn't cover our expenses, we couldn't cover our taxes, we couldn't cover our payables, everything piled up big time. And nobody would look at us, nobody would return my calls, nobody would give me a time of day around anything, right? It has been a very tough period for me as the CEO of the company, seeing my reputation taking a big hit because of the poor performance of the business. And I'm the founder, I'm the CEO, I accept those things, and I decided to stick through it, right? And keep focus regardless of the challenges. But then our friends at Equity, saw iCreate and said, boy, we want to help this business, right? They said, we want to help this business to realize its true potential. And before Equity in May last year, I personally put some cash in the business, right? I put 0.3 million in the business, and that is Kentire Holdings in the notice. And then our friends at Equity came and said, "Boy, we will lend you some funds, right?"
That's 50,
And the
50 million,
50.5,
500,000.
right,
Yeah.
right. And we said to them, we appreciate it. We'll we'd love to access that funds, but iCreate is we can't afford a lot more debt, so we
Yeah.
would want it to be a kind of convertible funds and so forth. And at the time, the company was very unstable. The stock price was trading at sometimes 50 cents, 60 cents. It made a small jump to 80 something cents. And Equity negotiated and said, "Well, listen, we would want this. We would want this at a discount to protect ourselves. We're taking a big bet on you here and so forth." And we negotiated and we did the deal. And Equity's investment, more than even Kentire Holdings' investment, was a big boost for iCreate, because what happened is that we cleared our taxes, we cleared our payables, we're up to date on pretty much everything. And it has provided so much clarity for the business. And we're grateful for that. So we're having the EGM now to ask the shareholders to, the Equity has agreed to convert this to equity. Our board has passed the resolution, and we're going to be asking our shareholders to approve that by way of ordinary resolution, which means that only 51% of the votes you need to do that conversion. So, I know some shareholders are a bit unhappy, like, "Boy, you're going to give them this big discount at the price at December 4th, and, the stock price is $4, but the Equity didn't take that bet when the stock price was $4. It was 70 odd cents, right? So they believed in us, and I believe it's only fair for them to benefit from whatever upside it presents from their investment. It could have been the other way around. The stock price could have moved to 40 cents. They would have been in a loss position, right? So they are benefiting, but iCreate as a company is big on investors first. Our shareholders are very important to us, and whatever kind of opportunity we present to other individuals through private deals or convertible debt or all of that, shareholders will also get the opportunity to benefit, right? Our rights is one indication of us providing that opportunity for shareholders. We could have easily go APO, but the rights is that we want the existing shareholders to be able to tap into some of their rights and benefit from some of the discounts in the business. We're big on providing those opportunities for our shareholders. So the Equity today, tomorrow, somebody else.
Can you speak to, for those who maybe never heard of a rights issue before, can you speak to what that is? What benefit are you expecting to pass on to existing shareholders through the rights issue? And I don't know if you can speak to how much you're seeking to raise at this point.
Yeah, so the board is pretty much going to meet on the details, but just for everybody, a rights issue is a way in which a company can raise equity, but by way of providing that opportunity to its existing shareholders first, at a discount of the current market price. So iCreate is trading at $4 now, for example, per stock. A rights issue can be structured where shareholders who are currently holders of the company stock can get it at, say, at $3 or $2.50, depending on our pricing. So what happens is that they get a benefit, they get it at a discount, and they benefit immediately from the current trading price versus what they bought it at, right? And then there's, it can be a renounceable rights issue where they can renounce the rights, and, other non-shareholders get the opportunity, the same type of discount opportunity and so forth on the stock. So we are doing that. We're choosing that route because, of course, we want our shareholders to benefit. We're all in this as a team. The shareholders' investment through the IPO is what gives us this opportunity to be doing what we're doing today. We're not lost on that, right? So we want to, we're pro shareholders, especially those that stick it through with us when it was at 40 odd cents, right?
Yeah.
So we want to ensure that we continue to look out for our shareholders and give them opportunities to benefit where necessary.
Any idea as to when that would be decided? When
Well,
you
we want
update on that?
we want to go to market within 60 days. We want to complete everything within 60 days.
Okay, that's good. So the final thing that we see here in terms of resolution is the authorizing and creating of 100,000 Class A redeemable shares. Can you speak to that?
Yes. So a lot of companies have that kind of protection as it relates to overall management of a company. Obviously, we're doing a lot of fundraise. Currently, eMedia owns 51% of the company, which gives us majority, but not super majority. But we can pass these ordinary resolutions and so forth. As we buy into new deals, we will be diluted, in some way, and we want to ensure that the company is still able to carry out its business, whether eMedia or related parties therein control 10% of the vote by the ordinary shares, or they do control 51%. We want to be able to vote on matters and carry out the company business without being hijacked. And that is merely what we're doing with that. But again, I say we're pro shareholders, and everything that we're doing will be of great transparency and inclusion of our shareholders and so forth, so they can see what we're doing. And even this whole EGM process. Remember, we had done the EGM before, and we decided to redo the EGM and provide more information so that every shareholder can see exactly what it is that we're doing. We did this EGM in December 31 already, but it wasn't detailed in terms of, the pref share, in terms of the dilution, the effective dates, all of these things. So we pretty much decided to redo all of that.
Okay.
For greater transparency.
And thank you for that context there. I was looking to see if there's anything else that I'd want to ask you. Fiona was asking if she'd be able to benefit from the rights issue even if she bought one share tomorrow. I was saying to her that it depends on the date that is selected for the rights issue, and the best way to know that is when it's announced, right? I don't believe that we have set a date yet, but typically, I mean, if the timeline that you're working with is 60 days, I would probably say, if you think you might be interested, you may want to, I guess, seek to be a shareholder as soon as possible. I don't know if that's the way to say that without saying I'm giving you advice to buy the shares.
Yeah, I would say just get in now. We're going to try our best to ensure that shareholders are able to be counted, but I would say get in as quickly as possible.
Okay. All right. So in terms of, I'm looking through the, I'm trying to bring up the current quarter, that report, to see if there's anything that I'd want to ask you. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Alswave is asking if you'd be able to participate in the rights issue from overseas.
I think if you're already a shareholder, you're good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Ali, the best thing to do would be once you have the brokerage account and you are a shareholder, you will be able to participate. I believe that's how it works. As we always say here, speak to your licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision. Let me see here. I'm just doing a quick run through here, Tyrone, to see if there's anything else.
Yes.
All right, Damani is asking if you can speak on the sponsorship with Kingston Beta. Can we look forward to any further synergies there?
I mean, that's more Dominic and team Dominic who leads up the institute. But iCreate is definitely a part of that community, and we'll continue to be supporting that. Jermaine, the new owner of the franchise, a good colleague of mine. So we're definitely a part of that community.
Okay. The man is also asking if there's any more word on Sunsplash.
2023. We're not rushing it this year for sure.
Okay. All right, great. Guys, if there are any more questions, please post them. I think we're just about to wrap up this segment. Final call for questions. Let me actually check our Telegram group as well. If there are any questions coming in there. All right. Okay. All right. So I guess the only question that I'm seeing here that was asked by Tyrone as well. I'm not sure if you've answered it, but let me ask it in this way, just in case he's watching, for him to get a clear answer. So as it relates to raising funds through the rights issue, can you provide a clear picture of how the funds will be used once raised? So the funds from
that's going to be in the circular. That's a term used mostly for rights issue, for prospectus, for the rights issue. The details will be in the circular.
Okay. So, all right. So you're pretty much saying you can't divulge that information just yet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So I think that's it. Tyrone, is there anything else so I was interested in learning a little bit more about Get Paid, the company, when we were talking about it on our channel, going through the news. I was not able to really see any details around Get Paid. We don't know how much they make, what their history is like, what really that roadmap for acquisition would be, because there were really no details in the article, just that you're going to acquire them, a statement, that was it. Is there any...
I'm going to bring the CEO of Get Paid on next time. Yeah, man. It's a very good business. We didn't want, for competitive reasons, we didn't want to divulge much about that acquisition, but I think we're in a good place now. Okay. I'm going to definitely bring him on with us next time.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, so that will be when we're going through Q2, trying to see how that's a point throughout the year. So we're going to expect to see a big jump there. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so Courtney Ann says, not a question, but she's super proud of you. Keep going.
Thank you, Courtney Ann. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, we're keeping at it.
All right, and Travon said thanks for answering questions here. All right, let me see. I think that's everything. All right, so Tyrone, I mean, thank you so much. I think we've covered the highlights as to what the pressing questions were. There's a lot more for us to see in terms of updates. As you said, I know you've tried to be as transparent as possible in terms of sharing information, so we greatly appreciate it. I think the largest, maybe one of the main challenges for persons is thinking or seeing the company the way it used to be, and not necessarily the company where it is today.
They're gonna love what it will become more than what it was, because it's just an expansion of.
Okay. Yeah. Henika said proud of you as well. All of your grit and perseverance.
Yes.
And I mean, so I'm interested in education side, as I said to you before. I mean, L.E.A.R.N Grow Invest, we're in education. We want to see companies like iCreate do well. So
Yes.
what we try to do in our reviews as somebody who's on the outside is be objective when we review, and
Yes.
I mean, just try to see if we can make sense of what we see from the financials. It is past information, so it doesn't say where the company is going, but where the company has been.
Yes.
So I mean, I really do appreciate you giving us some context behind what we will be going through. So really appreciate that. So yeah, thank you for being so open and transparent with us. If you're watching this on the replay, guys, if you have any questions for Tyrone, just post it in the comments below the video. I know Tyrone to be a very, open and straightforward person. So if you tweet at him, I'm sure he would respond as well, or send him an email or anything like that. So thank you so much, Tyrone. Greatly appreciate it. We'll definitely talk again soon.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Appreciate it.